Guys, what's going on? Welcome to Serial at Midnight. I am Heath, and in this episode, we are talking about Robotech, specifically the Macross Saga, Part 1. Those of you who know, there are 3 parts that make up the Robotech saga. This is the first. It has just recently arrived on store shelves, and boy, is this controversial. I will be sharing my opinion about what I think about this. We're also going to compare it to what I believe is the gold standard of Robotech on home physical media. This is the Protoculture collection from ADV, released in 2005. And it really is the benchmark. It's all 3 components. It's the Macross Saga, Robotech Masters, the New Generation, and then this entire section here is extras, special features, multiple discs. So we'll get into this. We'll do some comparison talk in a second, but it is exciting that Funimation has picked up the rights to distribute Robotech in North America. This shirt that I am wearing, I mean, I am a Robotech fan. I'm an 80s kid. Robotech was so important in the raising awareness of what anime was to us 80s kids. The westernization of anime, I guess, is what I'm talking about. Voltron, Robotech, these were huge for us in the 80s. And this shirt exists because of the deal with Funimation. You can walk into the mall. This shirt comes from Hot Topic. You know, I take my daughter to Hot Topic. I'm like, let me go over here and look at these Robotech shirts. They have multiple Robotech shirts. They had at least 3 different designs there. That's because of Funimation. That's a good thing. The Robotech license was kind of just, you would almost not know that it existed, but since Funimation has picked it up, it's apparel, it's toys, it's model kits, it's video games. They're putting it back at the forefront in a way that Funimation can do. You know, you look at the saturation of something like Dragon Ball Z. They can get behind some stuff. But then they announced the series for Blu-ray, and I was just like, what? You know, pulling my hair out with excitement, because I am that 80s kid that loves this stuff and has for, you know, well over 30 years. And so they announced this massive box set that is very expensive. It was, you know, like hundreds of dollars, and it's the 3 seasons, the 3 series that make up, you know, they're not really seasons, the 3 shows that comprise Robotech. Robotech was made from 3 Japanese anime series that had a through line. They created a through line to connect them together for an American audience. This massive box set seemed very cool. I mean, it is very cool, but it's got a lot of stuff in it, like Roy Foker's Veritech Fighter variant and exclusives, right? The pack-in goodies and stuff. And they're not pack-in goodies that are like, oh, it's art cards or something like that. I mean, it's like big, chunky stuff. And I was like, I don't think I need all that. That's just going to go in the corner, or it's going to go on a shelf and not get. Yeah, I don't think I need that. When I buy a video game special edition, or even some of the DVD special editions that I've bought, most of the time those big clunky extras just get put in storage somewhere. So then I found out they were releasing these individually into 3 different volumes, and that was for me. They've already announced the next volume's coming out around Christmas time. I will be buying it. And so it's exciting, but then the advanced reviews started to come in. And they were very critical about this. And so I was like, well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to buy this after all. I went from being so excited, but also knowing that I'm good, right? Like I can watch Robotech anytime I want to with like all the special features that existed. But it's on DVD, which is, you know, well, we'll hold on to that. So I started to see all these reviews, and they're like, it's just the same as the DVD. They've taken a high definition scan of the existing film elements, and it really looks like a DVD. People that I know personally, you know, there's Patreon supporters that have told me this, and I agree with them. I don't know if I agree with them, but I believe them and I trust their opinion. They were like, just watch your DVDs. But see, here's the thing. This is where it trips me up. That's not a right way to say it. This is where it gets complicated for me. Because I preach that if you want to support something, you vote with your dollar. You vote with your wallet. And knowing that Funimation had licensed this, and that I was maybe not going to buy a Blu-ray of something that I love and that I'm willing to wear, not just willing, but like gleefully happy to wear. Like I put this on and I'm like, yeah, you know, fighting in my Veritech Fighter, you know, like I love Robotech. It's a foundation. It's like a deep in me, you know, like it's a big part of who I am. I needed to support this. I really believe that we vote for things that we want by either supporting them or by not supporting them. If you don't support something like this that comes out and you care about that thing, you have sent a message. Now, this is a larger conversation, and full disclosure, we are having this conversation often on Patreon and these exclusive videos that come up, and there's a constant give and take. So I should also mention we're completely viewer supported. The Patreon support is what is keeping this channel, 5-6 days a week. We're having deeper conversations there about, do we have a responsibility to support things that we care about with our money? I mean, I feel like we do, and I don't want to be the guy who says one thing and does another. So I plopped my Best Buy, I waited until I couldn't wait anymore. My Best Buy got down to one copy of this, and I was like, well, all right, let's do it. So I bought it, okay? And it was with much hesitation and very lowered expectations that I put this into my Blu-ray player. I should also tell you, before I did, I watched the first episode of the Macross Saga. I didn't watch the whole thing, I'll be honest. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched part of the first episode of the Macross Saga on the DVDs, which are by a lot of accounts the best, right? So here's what I can say. And I'm not going to do before and after screenshots for you guys because frankly, they would be lost here on YouTube. We're going to be talking about grain. We're going to be talking about, the way that film looks. You would not see it. You're going to have to take my word for it and just trust me. The DVDs. Okay, so the DVDs look really good. And if that was how I had to watch this for the rest of my life, I'd be so happy. No hard feelings about it whatsoever. I'd be so happy that I have these on DVD. They are soft. They do, they're 15, 16-year-old DVD encodes, right? They're not even like the newest, hottest compression technology or anything like that. They look like 15 and 16-year-old. They're 16 years old. They look like 16-year-old DVDs. I like DVDs. I watch a DVD probably every single day of my life. On my 4K setup, someone commented recently like, DVDs on a 4K setup look like crap. No, they don't. I do it every day. They look good. They look so much better than they did back on our square TVs, which I have in this room I'm looking at right now. So I can tell you that too. I've seen on a regular basis. So this is good, right? Then I pop in the Blu-rays with lowered expectations, hearing everything that people have had to say about it, about how it's not much better. It's kind of the same thing. I was blown away. I was blown away doing the side by side like that. The colors are brighter. It's crisper. Now, this is where it may be controversial. I think that they've taken, actually, I know this seems to be the consensus among the tech people, which I'm not a tech person. I'm well aware of how this stuff is done, but I don't get bogged down into, like, well, what's the bit rate? All that stuff. I leave that for other people. They have apparently just done high definition scans of the original film materials. And I don't know if that's a negative, if they've scanned the film negative or if they've scanned, prints. I don't know. But they've done a high definition pass on some film elements. And it has brought out so much grain. And I think that's what is upsetting people, because they see grain and they're like, this isn't high definition. But the grain is there because it's high definition. Film is made of grain. The image on a film is made of grain. And if you bought Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, or if you bought A Clockwork Orange from Warner Brothers on the 4K format, it doesn't have a lot of grain. Back to the Future, all these mainstream big sellers, these things that are going to sell 15, 20,000 Ultra HD copies, they have had grain management applied to them to make it smooth. And because people think grain, you would think a high definition audience would know better, but they don't always know better. Grain is there because it exists in film. Some people hate grain, so studios take this approach to really tamp it down. Robotech is a grainy show now, and I love it. It looks like film. I'm telling you guys, there is detail that is kind of smoothed over here because it's just so, it looks like there's been a lot of HDR. Not HDR, just like digital noise reduction, DNR, that's the word I'm looking for. DNR applied to the Macross Saga, just all of Robotech here. But this is what it should look like. This is what it looked like when it was animated, right? So it's not like it's not going to make lines more crisp because they're hand drawn, right? It's not going to make, you know, I think what we maybe expect from the DVD to Blu-ray transition is that everything's going to become clearer, more crystallized, you know, lines are going to be smoother. But Robotech was always a messy show. It's a hand-drawn animation show. So there's nothing that you can do about that. But I am telling you that the quality has been improved. I'm going to say by a lot. Like, it looks 50 to 70% better to me. And again, that's just doing a side-by-side comparison on a 4K TV, on a 4K setup. So I'm getting the maximum up conversion from all of this stuff. Weigh that in, you know, weigh that with what I'm saying. But I'm super happy with it. I mean, this is how I'm going to watch Robotech from now on. Now, special features, that's a whole other conversation. We've got the opening and ending songs, rare promotional reels, the Macross original pilot, that's the extended version, that's about 70 minutes long, and photo galleries. Presumably, you know, the other chapters that come out, Masters and the new generation, are going to have similar, comparable special features. And I know there were more special features on that big box set, but look at what, this is our special features package here. Look at what was included in the original, in the ADV DVD editions. I mean, you guys, we've got the Codename Robotech, audio commentary, animation model sheets, international clips, a mecha library, character bios, toy commercials, point of view, an interview with Carl Macek. I'll tell you probably more than you want to know. I used to go to sleep listening to some of these extras. Like, I would put them on the TV. Carl Macek talking about the show, and like, it was so interesting to me that I would go to sleep listening to Robotech extras. That's how nerdy I am. Sentinels pre-production, Robotech 2: The Sentinels movie with special commentary track by Carl Macek. International clips again, the original opening and closing credits. I mean, there is so much stuff on these discs. And I don't know if that's going to make its way to the Blu-rays. So it's certainly not a situation of either or for me. I think it's going to end up being like, I watch the show on Blu-ray, and then when I want to hit up the special features, I pull out my Protoculture collection. I think that's where I'm going to be with it. I mean, this is just beautiful anyway. If you're a Robotech fan, like, this is, you know, you want this. This is beautiful. This is a piece of art. Got the logos and everything on it. So, I don't know. I think this is maybe not the opinion that a lot of people were expecting, but it is my, I mean, this is how I feel about it. This is how I think Robotech could look and should look. Now, people will say they could have gone in and done some digital manipulation, could have taken out, you know, the stutter rate, or cleaned up certain things, taken out the damage to the prints. I'm okay with all that being in there. I like film that looks like film. I like the error. They're not even errors. They're just inherent to the source material. You know what I mean? The film artifacts. I like that. I don't need it taken away. And this looks so good. I mean, this is, you know, here's another talking point. Recently, I reviewed Space Adventure Cobra, which was sent to us by Patreon supporter Larry. Larry, thank you. And behind the scenes, Larry was kind of telling me a little bit about his experience with this Robotech, the bigger set. But we reviewed Space Adventure Cobra, which is a beautiful animated movie that has had all of the grain and all of the film characteristic completely stripped away. And I was unhappy about that. I'm happy that the movie exists on 4K. I will watch it many times, but it doesn't look as good as it could have. So again, we live in a world where people that maybe don't know so well, or people that do know and just prefer otherwise, they don't like very noisy images for high definition. But by nature, film with a high definition scan is going to be very noisy. It's going to have a lot of active grain. And if that grain's staying in place, somebody's messed around with it. It's supposed to be moving. It's supposed to be active. For this guy, I'm very happy. Yeah, certainly some missed opportunities for this set, but it's 40 something, I think it's $45. And it will come down, especially with these negative reviews. It will come down between now and Christmas, I'm sure. But I don't know, guys. I dig it. I'm happy with it. Did I show you the back of the box? I mean, I like the art too. It's got like a Funimation.com Robotech, like it looks 80s. I dig it. I'll show you the inside too. I will say, you know, newer disc hubs and trays, sometimes the little hubs are shallower, so the discs fall out. Several of the discs were off their hubs when I opened this setup. Yep, we got one off the hub right now. Okay. There's disc 1, 2, and 3. 4 and 5. Special feet. Hold on, I'm just looking at that one for the last time. Special features. Okay, so all the special features are on the last disc. Oh, let me show you this too. The interior of the art, or of the art wrap. I think it's awesome. I think it's really cool. So that's the Serial at Midnight opinion and official review for Robotech the Macross Saga. I guess we'll be back here talking about part 2 in a couple of months. Until then, go watch the other videos. We got a lot of other stuff. I'm not signing off for 2 months. Until then, go check out the back catalog, and I guess we'll probably see you tomorrow because we put up a video every single day. Guys, thank you so much. Take care. Until next time, here's where to go and what to do.